Hi, welcome. In this video, I'm going to be interacting with Conrad, and I'm going to be beginning to use commands. And this is where you're going to see me using the down command. That's part of how this comes together in terms of response. But in terms of focusing in on the context of the response, in terms of relationship, in terms of Conrad responding based on control, about who's in control, and responding the right way, okay, without expectation of something in return, say for a treat, or gaining control through me, okay. And so when I talk about why it's so important to make sure that that on the relationship side of things, that you want a dog to respond the right way, okay, to truly be a well-behaved dog, to be a really good listener. It comes through just like a parent-child relationship. Okay, it comes through a child that is responding based on having respect, thinking the right way, and getting along well with others. And so this whole thing with response is really important because, again, dogs as social animals, you want to make sure that the picture is truly coming together the right way. Okay, and that's the problem within the dog training world. You'll see dogs moving around for things that they want, even when treats fade out of the picture, it still connects that way. The dog says, sure, I'll respond moving around, but what's in it for me, right? So here, this isn't about that. Okay? This is about doing it because I'm fading in the right way, and again, through the whole process, right from the very beginning, right from day one, right from hour one, okay, the videos are put out. You'll see me interacting with Conrad in a very specific way. Okay, the same way I'm going to be interacting on this video. But here you're going to see the commands start to come online. Okay, so it's knowing when to start to lean a little bit more on commands. And so you're going to be seeing me using commands. And even my voice, so you're going to see me being a little bit more assertive. But here's the thing. In terms of understanding at the response level on using verbal language, you'll see even that begin to become more and more solid. So for example, as I can be a little bit more assertive at first, knowing the level I'm faded in and knowing just how much I can kind of lean on those commands. I have to be a little bit more assertive. But as I fade in more and more, then just a whisper, okay, will generate a proper response. Or a hand signal, okay? You want to get the hand signals, even getting the dog to respond off a hand signal. But again, the right way, in terms of doing it because seeing me the proper way through nature, okay, through hierarchy, through the pack relationship. And dogs are social animals, so it's about understanding the context of response. So here I'm going to start moving around. You're going to start to see me generate, okay, some responses the right way. So same thing, circle method. Down. Sit. Down. And you see it happen. Okay, now you can start to see how he's going prone. Okay, I'm still going to tap a little bit if you start sniffing that floor. But you see how his body, I mentioned this before in a prior video, how that sets up. He was rolling to his side. Now you see him going totally prone. So that's giving me feedback that this is lining up the right way. Okay, feedback to how his body's going based on responding to how he perceives me in terms of the social connection, okay? Sit. Down. Same thing. Really see that? Really good body posture. I'm still going to communicate with him a little bit when he's down there. I don't want him invested. I want him just to relax. Sit. With him. Now this is where I can start to move a little bit more too. See, notice I'm not just taking one step, taking more than one step. I'm still communicating through the leash. He's defaulting. He's sitting automatically really well. Down. Nice and prone. That's what you want. Not just for appearance sake. Okay, understand, this isn't just about a pretty picture. This is about information, his body posture, based on following the right path. Okay, so this information I'm getting here tells me that his perceptions of me is such that I'm fading in the right way at a really good level. Okay, it's very agreeable and accepting, so his body position is lining up. See that? Sit. And that's something where that happens on its own. Okay, here's the trick. It's like I'm not trying to generate a body position from using something to motivate it or for him to respond differently or make the adjustment. The adjustment happens on its own based on things lining up. See, that's the difference. I talk about information that you're getting through, this approach to training based on specific interactions. Well, you do get information and feedback to know that things are moving along. Okay, so there's certain things, certain interactions, or certain responses that will tell me that things are, just like when I'm using commands now, is that he's responding the right way. Okay, he's starting to be more agreeable, saying, you know what, the verbal language Dale's using is connecting, or he's seeing it's like a full package deal. He's starting to say, okay, therefore I don't have to be pushing or asserting influence the way that I was doing before. I can start to lean on the commands a little bit more now. So same thing, move forward with him here. But again, I just want to show an example of this on the video. People can kind of understand. Down. And just relax it. That's what you want. You just want, just relax, just like relax. It's kind of a, just like a purging effect. You just let it go. It's de-stressing Conrad. So it's taking stress loads off of him and making him feel good. So when I say down, it's not like he's, fixating, and like some dogs, you'll see them like they're in a down position, but they want to jump out of the starting gate. Here, what you want to see is just totally relaxation. Just relax. Sit. And here's the two thing too, with the sit part of it, still have to put some influence on him, but it's not like he's trying to use his body weight, which can happen, okay, at the initial stages where the dog is trying to use their body weight. It's almost like they're trying to choke themselves, okay, to avoid being brought under influence, even coming up to a sit position. Okay, but there's a little kinetic technique to offset that too. You can release a certain way so that you're not coming up on their trachea area that way. But again, the whole point is to say that he's very agreeable, and I barely have to put any influence at all to get him to respond, even to come up into the sit. Okay? Same thing, move forward here. Doesn't mean that I'm still not, nudging him some and working the method. There's still influence happening throughout. Down. Right here. Sit. See, just a little bit of influence, to help to communicate with him what I want him to do. But even as things move along, even just my voice and that, he'll just start to pop up better and better without any influence. So it's all about understanding how the picture comes together properly through response. Even with verbal commands, you notice the first week and a half, I'm not using verbal language, okay, because it's about understanding how the dog perceives you currently. Okay, so it's understanding the intent of what you're doing to line up to make sure my verbal commands are going to have meaning attached. But that comes through changing the perceptions from dog to owner, through the method, through these interactions. Those interactions changes how Conrad perceives me. Then, okay, when I use verbal language, it just attaches to these interactions and it lines up. But if you do that before, if I try to lean on verbal commands prior to, think about it. You're already perceived in a position of weakness, and you're trying to generate right change through getting the dog to release control. And if you try to use verbal commands that way, you stall out. It doesn't mean anything. Oftentimes, sure, they'll do it, but say, okay, I'll do it, but what's in it for me? See, this is the whole thing. Everything has a sequence. So you want to make sure you're focused on the interactions first. Then you start to lean on verbal commands, but there's still influence happening. Okay. So all to say, he's coming on very, very well. You see the bodies lining up. You see, if you go watch some prior videos, you'll see him going into a protest, kind of going to the side. That's what happens. Like on a down position, dogs are leaning away, and that's giving you information, saying, okay, The mind is still reacting, okay, still in conflict, okay, still disagreeable, right? Not a big deal, because it's knowing as you kind of just keep moving along, then see, in this video you see the change. And that tells me things are moving along really, really well, so because he's getting more and more agreeable, so he's not going into conflict, okay, so his body starts to adjust itself, okay, it starts to just go prone because his mind is relaxed, okay. So just some interesting things to consider, okay, when you watch this, because again, I'm getting information throughout the process through these interactions because of what they reveal, okay, based on what they represent. So he's doing really well. You're going to see more and more videos here. He has a few days left in the process, but considering where we started, we made incredible change. So thanks for watching.